The doorbell rang at precisely 7:43 p.m. on a Tuesday, which was strange because nobody who knew Adam Keller would ever drop by unannounced. He was the kind of man who scheduled social calls like dental cleanings, once every 6 months, always with a reminder. He had just finished grading a stack of sophomore literature essays, his red pen still warm in his hand. 20 years of teaching high school had given him a forehead crease that could hold spare change and a poker face strong enough to bluff God himself. He crossed the foyer of his suburban Midwestern home with the kind of tired grace that only comes from loving the same woman for 2 decades without ever really asking if she still loved you back. In the kitchen, his wife Monica was chopping vegetables with all the tenderness of a guillotine operator. The knife hit the cutting board in rhythm, mechanical, metronomic, surgical. Adam opened the door. There stood a lanky young man, dark hair, nervous energy, and a face that looked unsettlingly familiar. The kid extended a hand. "Mr. Keller?" he asked. "Adam Keller?" "That's me," Adam replied. "My name is Eli Brenner. I'm your son." Adam's grip on the doorknob tightened so hard his wedding ring clicked against the brass. He didn't say anything at first, just stared. The air went thin, like altitude sickness. He remembered a name, Jessica Brenner. Sophomore year of college. A 3-week relationship that ended when the summer did. One of those flings that never lingered, except apparently it did. "That's not possible," he said out loud. But even as he spoke, the math did what math always does, cold, unsentimental, and unforgiving. The boy was 18. Jessica was from Michigan. It checked out. "I've been trying to find you for years," Eli said. "Mom passed away last year. Cancer." From behind, Monica's voice cut the moment in half like a hot knife through ice. "Adam? Who's at the door?" She appeared beside him, dish towel in hand, eyes flicking from Adam to the stranger and then back again. "This is Eli," Adam said carefully. "He says he's my son." The towel hit the floor. Monica's face shifted through disbelief, anger, and landed hard on something between betrayal and courtroom-level prosecution. Her voice dropped like a verdict. "You're what?" Adam raised both hands, defensive but calm. "If it's even true." "My birth certificate list, father unknown," Eli interrupted, pulling a folded photo from his pocket. "But I have this. Mom kept it all these years." It was Adam. Younger, thinner, his arm around a petite brunette. Jessica. No denying it. Monica didn't look at the photo. She looked straight at Adam. 20 years of marriage, she whispered. "And now there's a grown man on our doorstep calling you dad?" "I didn't know," Adam said. "I swear to God, Monica." She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She turned to Eli and said, "You need to leave." Adam stepped forward. "Wait, he's staying at the Holiday Inn on Maple. Room 214. I told him I'd call." The door closed. And then Monica detonated. Adam sat in the Holiday Inn parking lot like a man who had lost the thread of his own life story. Across the street, an Arby's flickered with indifference. Inside his car, the heater hummed like it was trying to distract him from the fact that everything he thought was solid had just quietly cracked. Room 214. That's what the kid said. He didn't go in right away. Didn't call Monica. Didn't even Google what you're supposed to do when your marriage implodes without warning. Instead, he sat. He stared at the dashboard clock like it might start giving better answers than his wife ever had. Eventually, he checked in under his own name. The woman at the front desk handed him a keycard and a coupon for the breakfast bar. It felt obscene, like getting a mint on your pillow before being served divorce papers. The room was beige. 2 queen beds. 1 lamp. 1 man unraveling. The TV was playing one of those sitcoms where canned laughter tries to make up for hollow dialogue. He turned it off. It felt too close to home. Then his phone buzzed. Text from Monica. "Please don't come back." 5 words. No punctuation. Just a digital slap to the face. He stared at it until the screen dimmed. And then he pulled out the nightstand drawer. There it was, the motel Bible. Crisp spine. Untouched. Just like him. The next morning, Adam met Eli for coffee at a diner off Maple. The kind of place where the waitress knows everyone's cholesterol score and nobody bothers to say decaf because they assume you're not soft. Eli looked nervous. Like he thought maybe this was a setup. Like maybe Adam would pretend none of it happened. "Sorry about last night," Adam said. "That was a lot." "It's okay. I didn't mean to cause trouble," Eli replied, picking at the corner of a napkin like it had secrets. "You said your mom passed last year?" Eli nodded. "She wanted me to find you. She told me. She used to write you letters, but never mailed them. Thought you'd moved on. Thought you'd think she wanted something." Adam sipped his coffee. Black. Bitter. Like his mood. I didn't move on, he muttered. I just forgot what standing still felt like. There was a pause, long enough for the waitress to refill both cups and drop off a slice of pecan pie Adam hadn't ordered. On the house, she said. You look like you need it. By the time Adam left the diner, the guilt had started to ferment into something else. Not anger, not regret, something quieter. A question. If he hadn't known about Eli, what else didn't he know? He pulled up Monica's Instagram. It was private now. Her profile picture had changed too. No longer the beach photo of the two of them on their anniversary. Now it was just her, smiling, alone. Adam stared at it, the silence louder than any argument they'd ever had. And in that silence, a new thought crept in. He wasn't the only one hiding things. Adam didn't sleep much that night. Motel pillows always felt like they were stuffed with broken promises, and this was no exception. By morning, he had two goals: get a DNA test and figure out whether Monica's reaction had been about Eli or about something else entirely. He called in a favor from an old friend at the university's bio lab, the kind of guy who could run tests off the books and ask no questions. Eli agreed without hesitation, said he wanted clarity too. But clarity, Adam would soon learn, doesn't come from swabs and paperwork. It comes from noticing what isn't said, what doesn't show up in text threads, what isn't on Monica's face anymore when she says his name. That afternoon, Adam went back to the house. Monica wasn't expecting him, but he still had a garage code. He typed it in slowly, like each number might bite him. Inside, the place looked exactly the same. Except it didn't. His shoes were gone from the rack. The framed photo from their 10th anniversary, Monica in a red dress, him in a goofy grin, was missing from the hallway wall. And then he noticed something smaller, subtler. The scent. It used to be eucalyptus and vanilla, her favorite candle combo. But now, the house smelled like lemon cleaner and absence. He walked into the kitchen. Her phone was on the counter. Charging. Unlocked. He shouldn't have picked it up. He did anyway. There was no smoking gun. No shirtless selfies or secret folder labeled "Do Not Open." Just patterns. A name that kept showing up in her messages. Caleb. A client, according to her calendar. Lots of late meetings. Lots of emojis. Lots of messages that ended with "Don't worry, he's out tonight," or "I'll call when I'm alone." And then one that made Adam feel like the floor dropped 2 inches beneath his feet. Monica. He still thinks the sun is the worst of it. Poor guy? No reply. But that wasn't the point. That wasn't what made Adam's pulse start ticking behind his eyes. It was the word, still. Still meant the lie hadn't ended. Still meant there was more. And worst of it, what the hell else had she done? Adam locked the screen and set the phone down like it might explode. He walked out without touching anything else. Outside, he stood in the driveway, staring at the sidewalk like it might offer up answers in sidewalk chalk. Then his phone buzzed. Text from Monica. Don't come back. I mean it. 2 texts. Same tone. Same finality. Adam exhaled, then whispered to himself. What the hell did you do? The thing about betrayal is, it rarely kicks down the door. It slips in with the groceries. It lives in changed passcodes and suddenly deleted browser histories. It hides behind phrases like, "Don't be paranoid," or "You're overthinking it." Adam Keller wasn't paranoid. He was just a man who noticed things. And right now, the thing he noticed most was a name. Caleb. It didn't even sound threatening. It sounded like a Pilates instructor who smiled too much. But on Monica's phone, it showed up in all the right ways and all the wrong times. Late nights, lunchtime check-ins, and one particularly damning message. Caleb. Still thinking about yesterday. That dress was unfair. Followed by Monica's reply. I warned you not to sit that close winking face. There was no "my husband might see this." No "delete this later." Just digital familiarity, soft boundaries, and enough winks to short-circuit a marriage. Adam had seen enough. The next morning, he walked into the school office and requested emergency leave. No fuss. No long story. Just family matter. Might be gone a while. The secretary nodded sympathetically. She didn't ask questions. People rarely do when your eyebrows look permanently furrowed. Adam didn't go back to the motel. He went to a coffee shop 3 towns over. The kind of place with uneven floors and baristas who wear beanies in July. He brought his laptop, ordered something dark and bitter, appropriate, and got to work. He searched Caleb plus Monica's firm. Nothing obvious. Then he searched Monica's calendar. The one synced to their shared Google account. She never revoked his access. Probably forgot. Or maybe she didn't think he'd ever look. He did. And there it was. Caleb Thorne. A client. A big client. Listed for recurring weekly consults going back 5 months. That lined up. 5 months ago, Monica had started coming home later. 5 months ago, she'd gotten serious about her skincare routine. 5 months ago, she'd stopped calling him babe and started calling him Adam in a tone that sounded suspiciously like customer service. He kept digging. Caleb was on LinkedIn. Founder of a tech startup. Divorced. Fitness junkie. And judging by the headshot, probably very proud of his jawline. Adam stared at that smug digital face and wondered what Caleb's voice sounded like. Probably one of those guys who said brother too often. The kind who wore cologne called Dominance and used it like it was holy water. Adam didn't say a word out loud. He just bookmarked the profile and opened a new tab. By the time the DNA results came in, Adam had already built a file. Eli was his. No doubt. 99.98% certainty. He stared at the number and felt, not shock, not even regret, just confirmation. Eli was real. Honest. No hidden agenda. That made one of them. He met Eli for lunch again. Burgers this time. A place with cracked booths and too much neon, but it had charm. You okay? Eli asked, halfway through a fry. Adam nodded. Tired, mostly. Eli watched him for a beat. Is it about my mom? Adam shook his head. It's not about the past. It's about the present. He didn't explain. Not fully. But he slid the DNA report across the table anyway. Eli read it, silent. Then he looked up. So, I'm officially your kid. Adam smiled. For real this time. You always were. Eli looked down. His voice dropped. Thanks for meeting me. I thought maybe, after Monica, you'd disappear. Adam sipped his soda and stared out the window. She's not the reason I stayed. And she won't be the reason I run. That night, Adam parked a block away from his old house. He wasn't stalking. He was studying. The porch light was on. A different car was in the driveway. Silver Lexus. Tinted windows. Too clean. Not Monica's. Not Adam's. He waited. At 8:12 p.m., the front door opened. Monica stepped out. Hair curled. Red heels. Laughing. And behind her, Mr. Jawline himself. Caleb. The laugh wasn't the worst part. It was her body language. Loose. Comfortable. Familiar. Like she wasn't sneaking around, because in her mind, there was nothing left to sneak from. She touched Caleb's arm. He touched the small of her back. Adam didn't flinch. He just started the engine and drove away. But in the glove box sat a USB drive. And on that drive? Photos. Messages. Timestamps. Receipts, both literal and emotional. Adam didn't plan to use them right away. He didn't need confrontation. What he needed was leverage. At 11:47 p.m., Adam checked into a different motel. Not Holiday Inn this time. Something shabbier, more anonymous. They didn't ask for a credit card. He sat on the edge of the bed, pulled out a notepad, and started writing. Names, dates, patterns, a plan. He didn't want to explode. Explosions were messy, loud, easy to clean up after. He wanted to dissolve. Quietly, strategically, so that when the truth finally arrived at Monica's doorstep, it wouldn't knock. It would let itself in. Monica Keller woke up before her alarm. Not because she had somewhere important to be. Not because of the light peeking through the blinds or the birds chirping outside. No, it was subtler than that. It was the silence. There was no toothbrush running in the master bath. No creak of the guest room floorboards. No smell of coffee brewing. Adam hadn't been home in over a week, and the house had stopped pretending he ever lived there. She swung her legs over the bed and sat for a moment. The mirror across the room caught her reflection. Still in silk pajamas. No makeup. No carefully curated smile. She didn't like what she saw. There was a new line at the corner of her mouth, possibly from frowning. Or maybe from forcing too many fake smiles. She used to tell herself she deserved more than Adam. That he was safe, but not exciting. Stable, not seductive. That was her line whenever her friends asked why she always seemed distant at parties. But the thing about safety? You only appreciate it when the storm starts. And the storm had started quietly, strategically, with absence. She came downstairs and noticed the small things. Adam's jacket wasn't on the hook. His slippers weren't by the door. His framed diploma from U of M, the one she always said clashed with the decor, was missing from the study wall. He hadn't taken everything, just what mattered to him. She picked up her phone and scrolled, not really reading anything. No text from him. Not one since the night he left. No, are you okay? No, can we talk? Not even a goodbye. That irritated her more than it should have. Because in Monica's world, the person who leaves first wins. And Adam? He was never supposed to win at anything that didn't involve a gray book or a crossword puzzle. She opened her calendar. Caleb was coming by that evening. Another late consult. Another bottle of wine they'd pretend was just client hospitality. She could already hear his voice. Hey, gorgeous. You need anything while I'm on my way over? Caleb always made her feel noticed. Which felt like enough, until it didn't. By noon, Monica was restless. She checked her Instagram, private, curated, flawless. Her last photo, her in a soft-lit kitchen, holding a wine glass with the caption, "Self-care starts with good lighting, wine glass sparkles." She'd removed all traces of Adam months ago, long before any of this blew up. And yet, the image still felt fake. Staged. Because it was. Across town, Adam watched from the corner table of a library cafe. Eli sat opposite him, pretending to study for an econ midterm, earbuds in. Adam wasn't reading. He was observing. His laptop screen showed a folder of neatly organized files, each one named for a moment Monica didn't know he'd seen. Caleb_porchcam_01.mov. Dinnerres_thorn_recurring.pdf. Screencap_messages_Thursday 9 p.m.png. There was nothing explicitly illegal. Nothing graphic. Just context. A map of someone else's affair, plotted in digital ink. He wasn't going to use it, yet. But it comforted him to know it was there. That he wasn't crazy. That the erasure of his marriage hadn't been subtle, it had just been slow. You good? Eli asked, pulling out an earbud. Adam nodded. Getting there. Eli tilted his head. You're not gonna, blow up her life or anything, right? Adam looked out the window. No, he said. That's the thing about people like Monica. They do a pretty good job of that on their own. That evening, Monica cleaned the kitchen like a woman trying to scrub guilt off the backsplash. Caleb texted that he was running late, client call ran over. Typical. She poured herself a drink. The ice clinked in the glass like a countdown. She picked up her phone. No new messages. She opened Adam's contact, hovered her thumb over the call button. Did nothing. Set the phone down. That's when the email came. Subject, something for your records. No name. No message. Just an attachment. She hesitated, then tapped it. Her breath caught. It was a PDF. Scanned images. Photos of her and Caleb, some from the porch camera, some from a restaurant booth she didn't even remember anyone else being in. One shot showed her leaning in, hand on Caleb's knee, laughing. The timestamp, 3 days before Adam left. Attached beneath the images was a single line of text. Don't worry. I'm not going to ruin your life. I'm just going to let you live in it. Her stomach twisted. She tried calling. No answer. She called again. Straight to voicemail. The doorbell rang. Caleb. She opened it with a half smile, the mask already back on. But something about his face told her he knew. Not everything, but something. Hey, he said, giving her a quick kiss that didn't quite land. You okay? You look pale. She waved it off. Just didn't sleep well. He stepped inside. Didn't notice the laptop still glowing on the kitchen island. Didn't ask about the untouched wine glass. Didn't ask why her hand trembled slightly when she poured his. Later, when he was asleep in her bed, Monica lay awake. Adam hadn't yelled, hadn't confronted, hadn't sent angry texts or emotional appeals. He just disappeared, but not before showing her what the mirror really looked like. She was the woman who made jokes about her husband being boring. She was the woman who smirked when Eli showed up like a plot twist. She was the woman who mistook stability for weakness. Now, the silence Adam left behind was starting to hum with consequence. The next morning, Monica found a manila envelope in her mailbox. No return address. Inside was a printed invitation to her firm's upcoming fundraiser. Only it wasn't addressed to her. It was addressed to Adam Keller and guest. She flipped it over. On the back, scribbled in black ink, were 6 words. You'll recognize the guest. Trust me. Monica stood in her kitchen, invitation in one hand, dread in the other. The envelope had no stamp, no return address, just her name on the front like someone dared her to open it. Inside, a glossy print invitation to her firm's black tie gala next Saturday. Adam's name was on it. And that note. You'll recognize the guest. Trust me. Trust. The irony wasn't lost on her. She reread it 3 times, each pass-through carving a little deeper into her ribs. The ink was real. The message was simple. Adam wasn't gone. He was watching, and he was about to make an entrance. She considered texting him, typing something controlled. Light. Didn't expect you'd be attending. But she knew that silence was part of the game now. And texting him would be like playing chess with a man who'd already knocked over his king and walked away from the board. Monica wasn't afraid of confrontation. She was afraid of uncertainty. And Adam, who once folded his socks by color, had become unpredictable. That terrified her more than any affair ever could. Adam read the reply from the event planner and smiled. Confirmed. 2 seats. Black tie formal. Table 6, near the stage. Perfect. He wasn't planning a scene. He wasn't there to make speeches. He was just going to arrive. With a guest. One Monica wouldn't expect. One Monica knew. And nothing says, I've moved on quite like appearing in a room full of curated egos. With someone your ex once silently wished would vanish. The week leading up to the gala passed like fog on glass. Monica barely slept. Caleb noticed. You good? He asked one night, shirtless, scrolling through emails like betrayal was part of his night routine. Work, she lied. He didn't press. He rarely did. That was what she liked about Caleb, once. Easy. Effortless. A man who didn't ask for too much. Now, that same quality felt hollow. Like furniture with nothing in the drawers. She found herself rereading Adam's text from months ago, the last one before everything broke. Let me know when you're ready to talk like adults. She'd rolled her eyes at the time. Now, it sounded like mercy. Saturday arrived. Monica stood in front of the mirror for longer than usual. The red dress she chose was bold, strategic, forgiving in the waist, sharp at the collarbone. It was a dress made for damage control. She curled her hair the way Adam used to compliment. Soft waves. Not too much volume. And then, she waited. Caleb picked her up in the silver Lexus. You look stunning, he said, with the right amount of detachment to make it feel like an automated message. She smiled. Not because it was sincere, but because that's what you do when you're at war in public. You smile like your side is winning. The venue was all glass and gold. Catered silence, polished wine glasses, name cards like mini billboards for self-importance. They walked past the press table, Monica offering short nods, Caleb behind her like a bodyguard with charm. Then she saw it. Table 6. Adam was already there. He stood as they approached, polite, composed. Not a wrinkle in his suit. Hair neatly combed. Eyes sharper than she remembered. But it wasn't him that made Monica stop mid-stride. It was his guest. Beside him stood Lena Hallberg. From marketing. Twice divorced. Smart. Unfiltered. She once told Monica that life was too short for wine you couldn't pronounce or men who didn't listen. Monica had laughed. But she'd also once accused Lena, jokingly, of eyeing her husband at the company retreat. And now Lena was standing beside Adam in a satin green dress, hand resting gently on his forearm like it belonged there. Monica's smile twitched. Adam, she said coolly. Monica, he replied, with that calm tone people use when they know they've already won. Lena offered a nod. Monica. Been a while. Caleb extended a hand. Caleb Thorne. Adam smiled as he shook it. Ah, Caleb. Heard the name. Monica felt her breath catch. That one word. Heard. Not accused. Not confronted. Just noted. And somehow, that was worse. They took their seats. The rest of the table buzzed with oblivious chatter. Glasses clinked. Laughter scattered like confetti. But Monica's world had narrowed to one triangle. Her. Adam. Lena. She noticed the way Lena leaned in when Adam whispered something. The way they laughed. The way it wasn't fake. At one point, Monica excused herself to the bathroom. Lena followed a few minutes later. Inside the marble vanity room, Monica stood at the mirror, reapplying lipstick like it mattered. You're making a statement, she said, without looking at Lena. Lena checked her reflection. Not really. I'm just here with a man who makes good jokes and knows how to tip. Monica turned. You do realize how this looks? Lena shrugged. Yeah, like he upgraded. It wasn't cruel. It wasn't smug. It was honest. And Monica had no defense against that. Back at the table, dessert was served, some art piece pretending to be cheesecake. Adam stood to offer a polite goodbye. Thanks for the invitation, he said. Caleb raised a glass. Hope we do this again. Adam didn't blink. I'm good. He turned to Monica. Enjoy the rest of your evening. She didn't reply. She couldn't. Lena smiled, touched Monica's shoulder lightly, almost like a condolence, and they walked out. Hand in hand. No theatrics. No mic drop. Just presence. Monica stared at the spot where they'd been. fork frozen in midair. Caleb looked at her. You all right? She answered too quickly. Of course. Why wouldn't I be? But that night, when they got home, Monica didn't go straight to bed. She poured herself a drink, sat in the living room, and stared at the blank TV screen. She didn't cry. She didn't rage. She just whispered something she hadn't said in years. What did I do? 3 days after the gala, Monica's phone buzzed with a name she hadn't seen in weeks. Eli. She stared at the screen. Didn't answer. Instead, she set it face down and stared at her coffee like it might give her advice. The house was too quiet. Even the hum of the fridge felt judgmental. Another buzz. New message from Eli. I think you and I need to talk. Without Adam. She didn't know what terrified her more, that he'd reached out, or that he didn't sound angry. She called him. He picked up after one ring. Thanks for calling me back, he said. His voice was calm. Even, like he'd rehearsed this. Monica took a breath. What's this about? Eli didn't flinch. You were awful to me. Monica closed her eyes. Eli, I'm not calling to rehash it, he interrupted. I just have one question. The one nobody seems to be asking. Silence. Then, when did you stop loving him? Monica sat down. Hard. She wanted to deny it. Wanted to say it was complicated. Wanted to point out every stressor, every late night, every argument Adam didn't escalate. But she didn't. Because Eli wasn't yelling. He wasn't blaming. He was just asking. So she told the truth. I don't know if I ever did. Not the way he needed. Eli exhaled through the receiver. Monica wiped her eyes with the back of her hand, like the honesty had somehow leaked out of her. Then he said something that made her blood freeze. You know he's not going to break. Right. She blinked. What? He's not coming back. He's just going to keep building his life around everything you thought was permanent. And then he hung up. No goodbye. No threat. Just that one truth, ringing louder than any fight ever could. A week later, Monica received a package. No label. No name. Inside, a wooden box. She opened it slowly, half expecting a legal document or a grenade. But what she found was worse. A photograph of her and Adam from their first vacation, creased but clean. A printed screenshot of her first message to Caleb. Let's grab coffee sometime. Just us. A folded napkin from the cafe where she told Adam she needed space. And one typed note. You broke it slowly. I left quickly. Now we're even. She wanted to scream. But there was no audience. She wanted to cry. But she'd already drained those reserves trying to convince herself she wasn't the villain. Meanwhile, Adam was 200 miles away, standing in an apartment he never thought he'd call home. It was small, clean, unapologetically his. The books were shelved the way he liked. The fridge had only what he actually ate. There were no decorative soaps, no seasonal pillows, no passive-aggressive sticky notes about how his folding system makes the towels look sloppy. It wasn't revenge. It was peace. Lena stopped by later that night, carrying Thai food and sarcasm. I assume you didn't send Monica the bomb in the box. Adam smirked. Technically, no. I just packed it. Lena handed him a spring roll. Well, she's probably halfway to a dramatic haircut by now. Adam nodded, but he didn't look smug. He looked steady. I'm not trying to destroy her, he said. I know, Lena replied. You're letting her destroy herself. It took Monica 2 more weeks to call. Adam saw the number flash on his phone while he was folding laundry. He considered ignoring it. He answered. Adam, she said. He waited. She exhaled. I got your message. That wasn't a message, he replied. That was closure. Tied in a bow. Can we meet? He thought about it. Finally, public place. No drama. They met at a diner. Neutral ground. The same one he'd taken Eli to months ago. She looked thinner. Not physically. Just reduced. Why, Lena? She asked. Adam blinked. That's what you lead with. She looked away. She used to make fun of you. Adam smiled. She also apologized for it. Sincerely. That's more than I ever got from you. Monica stirred her coffee without sipping. You really think I'm a monster? Adam didn't flinch. No, he said. Monsters know they're dangerous. You thought you were entitled. She didn't argue. She couldn't. I wanted passion, she whispered. You wanted options, he replied. You got them. Then, just before he left. You didn't break me, Monica. You freed me. And the worst part is, I don't even hate you for it. He walked out. She stayed seated, stirring a drink that had long gone cold. A month later, Monica attended a work party alone. No Caleb. He'd ended things quietly. Said she was distracted. said she had unfinished business with herself. The truth? She was no longer a conquest. She was just the aftermath. That night, she walked through the house she once shared with Adam, touched the door frames like they might answer her. And she noticed, for the first time, that nothing still smelled like him. Not his side of the bed. Not the old hoodie in the closet. Not the air. He had disappeared the way only a man who truly loved you once could. Completely. Across town, Adam was watching the sunset from a quiet hill. Eli sat beside him, tossing pebbles into the grass. Lena leaned against his shoulder. No drama. No speech. Just presence. The past didn't sting. It just echoed. And Adam finally understood. Some wars don't end with explosions. They end with absence. The kind that leaves the other person wondering, what if I had loved him better, before he stopped waiting to be loved at all?